I did.
Nice. Looks very good.
Yeah, I saw it on another Facebook Live, and I said, Rob, how do you do that? And he goes, yeah, you can do it on StreamYard. He just told me, and so I was like, cool. So now I'm doing it. Oh, I was having fun with it at work today. I was putting up all kind of wacky stuff.
I bet you were.
We can put on anything we want.
Oh, Lord.
You look short for some reason. Did you shrink? There you are. All right, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
The people are ready. Our guest is ready. Here we go.
All right.
Good Health by Claudia, podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. This is episode 41. Yes! Woo-hoo! Today we're talking gut health and why my love handles won't go away. Okay, no, we're not talking about that. Our guest is Julia Craven, VP of Education at Enzymedica. Before we get rolling, before we bring our guest on, let me run the disclaimer. Got to please the suits. The information contained in these podcasts is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or health condition. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional if you do have a medical condition.
Yes.
The FDA has not evaluated the information on this podcast, which represents the opinions of the hosts and our guests. Claudia, how are you today on this beautiful fine day?
I'm doing all right. Keeping the faith, man.
So you got to, man. God is good.
Yeah.
He'll keep us straight and narrow if we pay attention. Yeah. All right. So when I see gut health, the first thing I think of is this why I got love handles? Because I got bad gut health? What does gut health mean?
Well, gut health, at least in this day and age, means that millions of people are living in gut distress. And it's very fair to say, given decades of the American diet and all the exposure that we have to fat-soluble toxins, and they're in the food and all the junk everybody's eating, and then you throw in all the pharmaceuticals everybody's on, it's really caused disruption to the internal world. You know, we should have far more of the good bacteria than we should have of the bad guys. But in this day and age, it's fair to say, I always say the bad guys are running the joint, and we got to bring up the good guys. So Enzymedica has been a leading company through the years of really talking about gut health and specifically about plant enzymes. So I'm excited that Julia's with us today. She's terrific. She knows her stuff. She's got a beautiful heart, and we're going to learn a lot.
Well, let's bring her in. Julia Craven is the VP of Education at Enzymedica. Julia, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation with you guys.
Hi, Julia.
Claudia,
Hi.
Did you tell Julia that she had to be formal? She looks very nice today. Her hair is perfect. Her glasses are awesome. Her makeup's on. And look at me. I need a shave, and I'm wearing a t-shirt.
My hair's always a mess. She looks beautiful.
I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts. I tired. There's a nap for that. Anyway, if for those that are watching at home or wherever you are, you'll see the scroll going across. That's something new. It encourages you to share as you're watching on your Facebook page. Share it with all your people in your Facebook page. Also, if you have any questions throughout the discussion, type them in the comments, and then I'll ask them for you to our guest and for Claudia. So when Claudia said to me, Julia, that we were going to be talking about gut health, the first thing I think of is love handles. Does gut health and love handles have anything to do with each other?
Well, they most certainly can, because health begins in the gut, right? And so if we're talking about anything to do with health, eventually we want to be looking at the gut. Exactly. And more research comes out all the time about what's going on in your microbiome and the signaling that can happen all throughout your body. There's really cool bacteria in your gut that can kind of control. Are you craving sugar? How is your insulin response? So, right. When we're thinking about anything long-term, we're thinking about the gut to start with.
So what is a good indicator that you're out of balance when it comes to gut health?
Well, Claudia, as you know,
that's a lot. You know, people are coming in daily with, diagnosed with, burning and esophageal issues and ulcerations and H. pylori and bloat and gas and brain fog. Brain fog's a biggie. Brain starts in the gut. We always talk about that, right, Denny? We always bring that up. So, and Julia knows that better than anybody. The brain starts in the gut, and so it affects, it affects the brain, it affects how people think, how they feel, because it affects the endocrine system. So there's a lot, but lots of people come in, they eat something, they're burning, they're in misery. That's probably one of the biggest complaints, don't you think, Julia, is just what people are eating in that immediate kind of the gut saying, I don't like what you just fed me.
I don't like what you just did. Yeah, in fact,
Exactly.
that occasional heartburn, I was shocked with the statistic that 30% of Americans experience it weekly and 10% every single day. And so it really, really is a huge issue. But to Claudia's point, it's not just those obvious things that we think about. The brain fog, the cognitive, that cognitive function not being at its best, that can be a food intolerance, which can
Right.
start in the gut and can be helped by good gut care. Also, just that feeling of I feel tired, I feel heavy after I eat.
Yes.
That's a big one. And then low motility. If we're not going to the restroom every single day, multiple times a day, you would be surprised what's really happening with people. That's another huge indicator if that regularity is something
Yes.
that you struggle with.
Yeah, you
Definitely.
can say if you're having trouble pooping on this
Yeah.
podcast, that's
It only
perfectly
takes me
fine.
usually 5 minutes to say the word poop in any part of my day. So we're
Yeah.
there. We did it.
We talk about that all day long, don't we, Julia?
Get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way. If you ain't
But-
pooping
but-
regular, then you got gut health issues.
But it is true that the bowel reflects what's going on starting in the stomach.
Mhm.
It definitely, it's a lot of plumbing in there. So one of the things we talk about actively at the store and have for many years is candida overgrowth. I first learned about it in 1986 from Dr. Trowbridge's book, The Yeast Syndrome. We've talked about it on the show and daily, because it just made sense to me. If there's not enough good flora, things are going to go awry.
Mhm.
So we've been guiding people actively on a yeast-free protocol. And one of my very, very, very favorite products that we're going to talk about today is Candidase.
Yep.
We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on this product.
Including me.
Yep. And because we have seen the benefit of what it does. So let's talk about this in regard why it's so important. We have a lot of people that come in, they've changed their diet, they're taking different supplements to help address yeast overgrowth, but they can't seem to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is always the important missing link. It's got to start with this product. So let's talk about how this breaks down the biofilm.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, most people know what enzymes do. They break stuff down. We're used to thinking about enzymes for digesting our food. And we're used to even thinking about enzymes for cleaning, right? We put enzymes down the drain and think about that gunk that the enzymes that you're putting down your drain are breaking down. And they actually work very similarly in our bodies. There are certain kinds of enzymes that really excel at breaking down the crud in your gut as it accumulates, biofilms being one of them.
Yes.
Biofilms are basically it's body's protective system to say there's something here that doesn't belong. I'm going to create a barrier over it so it doesn't enter the bloodstream. So it's really interesting. It's like the body being smart, but eventually it's not such a great idea because we need to break it down. We get into a state of imbalance. And enzymes can help to break down those biofilms and help to break down fungal forms. You have to take them on an empty stomach. So that's something that's kind of unique about the Candidase product is that you're not taking it for food digestion. You're taking it to help to break down the candida, the fungal overgrowths, actually anything that is protein-based that does not belong. The enzymes can come in and help to clean those out, which is very different than how most other candida type products work.
Yes. Yes. And
so I like to use them together.
Before we had Candidase on the market, we would, Dr. Trowbridge talked about Podiarco and caprylic acid and all these wonderful, beautiful natural antifungals. And that's what we had and that's what we used. But we would see it was hard on the host. It really took it, it was hard. It's what Dr. Trowbridge called the Herxheimer reaction. And, that's when people are dealing with the breakdown of their own toxins, if you will. It can be very hard on the host. So when this product came out, I don't even know what year this product came out, but I read the research. We ordered it like the next day. It just made sense to me. And I always use the analogy with a biofilm because we've raised 3 boys. I always tell people a biofilm is like having a spaceship with a shield around it. You got to break down the shield to get to the spaceship. And people say, oh, yeah, that. So, this is it's proven to be not only a very effective product, but it's truly an important product when people are on a yeast-free protocol. It's the first thing we start with, of course, probiotics. So we're bringing up the good guys and eating away the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Claudia, I want to ask a question here because you said it's hard on the host.
Yes.
What exactly is that? Hard on who's the host?
The host is the person that is working on improving their health.
Got it. So it's hard on the person. Okay.
It's hard on yes. I always say all these critters growing in everybody, the people eating all the junk or hosting what's growing in their body. That's why changing the diet is so incredibly important. But with a product like Cannabis, this helps you get ahead of the game, in my opinion. So the product itself, it's cellulase, correct?
Yep. So it's very high cellulase enzymes, which are those enzymes that help to break down fiber. And it's very high protease, which is the enzymes that help to break down protein. Now, fungal forms are basically a fibrous outer shell and a protein inner shell. Yes. So what's really special about using enzymes and how they work so differently than other kinds of things, you mentioned Podiarco, but the grapefruit seed extract,
right?
The colloid clover, all of that. I call them the killers, right?
Yeah.
Clove, things like that. Yeah. They come along, and a lot of them are very high in alkaloids, and they're actually kind of disabling. They're starting to cleave those fungal forms, but the host, is left having to detoxify them. Yes. Enzymes come along and actually just break everything down. And so you have a lot less of that detoxification after effect, and you can push through the cleanse much more quickly.
And to be honest with you, you guys suggest 6 a day, but over the years, we've literally, because people at this point they have such advanced fungal overload. And so we start everybody on 1 capsule a day for a week.
Yeah.
And then we go to 2 the second week, 3 the third week. And from there, once they know how it's interacting with their system and how they feel, then we tell them, get to the 6 a day as fast or as slow as you want, but you're working up to 6 a day. And it is important.
Wait a minute, Claudia. I did the 1 a day for a week, and then I did 2 a day, and I've been on 2 a day ever since. You mean I should be on 6 a day?
Yes, I told you got to work up to 6 a day.
I need to write stuff down. Now, can I take all 6 at once, or do I got to take like 3 in the morning and then, have breakfast, and then later on when I got an empty stomach, have another 3? How does it work, Julia?
It's preferable to split it up like that. And Claudia, I love that you start people slow. We call it the low and slow method because enzymes are cleansing. Yes. And so you don't want to accelerate into that with cleansings ever too quickly. So I love that you start people slowly. As far as timing goes, the most important thing is that it's on an empty stomach.
Right.
But it is preferable to split them up.
All right. So I got to work towards 6 a day now. I got a new goal.
Yeah, there you go. And you're doing great, by the way.
Thank you.
Denny's doing a great job reclaiming his health. It's a beautiful thing to watch, as it is with everybody that's willing to reclaim their health. That's why we do what we do, right?
Most important thing.
That's what it's all about for us. So, Denny, work up to 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening, empty stomach. And that's when it really, and then people will say, well, how long do I need to stay at 6 a day? And I tell them, it's up to you as an individual. We've had people that were at 6 a day for 2 months, and some people needed it for 10 months. So, but I think that's the importance of those of us that are guiding people. One of the things we learn over the years, it's best to do it slowly because we not only for the impact on the individual, but it's important. It's always been important to me and my staff as we guide people. We want natural health is about the individual participating in it. It's not about us telling people something. It's about them participating, and they're really guiding. We're just there to help guide how they're telling us what they're feeling. So it's important for people to know how they feel. That's why we start everything slow and steady.
So you won't stay on 6 a day for like the rest of your life?
No. Julia, you would agree, correct?
No, I think that the thing that you do for the rest of your life is take a digestive enzyme.
And
because
probiotics.
and probiotics. Because that's going to help break down your food. If you're not breaking down your food completely in your gut, this is one of the ways that these critters, we're going to call them the bad guys, the bacteria and the biofilms, get into a state of overgrowth. Once you have gone through a cleansing protocol and you've come to a point of balance, then you can kind of go back to the probiotic and the digestive enzyme. But I'll do a course of it, especially after the holidays, if I've been eating some sugar that you normally wouldn't. And then, I kind of go off book for a little while. I'll do a few weeks of Candidays just to help to get me back in balance.
And I think that's important what you're saying, because nothing is, we're not stagnant. Things are always changing, and according to our stress levels and how much we're enjoying goodies around the holidays or summer vacations. So people learn to balance it as they need it. So we do have customers that started it years ago, and they know when they need it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't bring the Digest Gold today, but you brought up the enzymes. So let's just touch on the Digest Gold.
Okay.
Because it's a great product, helps a lot of people, and especially people that are already burning. They're already having such gut distress. They might need some hydrochloric acid, but we don't jump in and find out right off the bat. We start very simple and work them up. So tell us about the Digest Gold.
Well, the Digest Gold, it's our flagship product. And what I love to tell about with people is that it has been the number one seller in the natural products industry for 20 years in a row. And not a lot of people realize that. And I don't bring it up because it's like, oh, look at us, we're so great. I bring it up because that's pretty amazing legacy. That's showing people how well it really, really works. So it's one of the highest potency that's on the market. But there's also what's special about Digest Gold and all of Enzymedica's products is how we blend our enzymes. We are the enzyme specialists, and so we understand the pH of the human digestive system, and we understand that you have to have the right enzyme for the job that's going to work in that pH, at that temperature, and on that food. So Digest Gold is incredibly potent, especially when it comes to protein digestion, carb, fat, and fiber digestion. So everything that might be on your plate normally, there's an enzyme for that in Digest Gold, and at a pretty darn high potency too.
Yeah. And that product is meant to be taken with food.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You want it in your stomach while you're digesting your food. Yeah. And it's interesting you brought up the pH of the gut, because, Western medicine has been telling people for years, oh, you're overproducing too much acid. And it's important that the stomach has the proper acid level from the hydrochloric acid, but everything else should not be that acidic.
Right? Yeah. So and stomach acid's gotten a bad rap. We really need stomach acid.
And so it's very important that we have I always say that the stomach is our garbage disposal, and it's supposed to just grind things up. Nothing should get absorbed through that whole, through that wall. So hydrochloric acid is extremely important, and the digestive enzymes are helping to help that garbage disposal work better.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the other products that I did bring today is LipoGold, because so many people are having, biliary issues, meaning gallbladder. Denny, by the way.
Yeah.
When I said that, I better say, liver, gallbladder. That's
sure. Talk down to me. I like it.
Well, but you know what? These are the basics that everybody needs to learn. And that's what we're here to do, is teach the basics, so more people can truly embrace their journey of working on getting healthy. So tell us about the LipoGold.
LipoGold is very, very high in the enzyme lipase, which helps to break down fats.
Yeah.
And when we have so many people that are walking around without a gallbladder, this is really, really important. Gallbladder is consistently in the top 10 surgeries in the US. There are so many gallbladder surgeries every year, we don't even have a statistic for it. Yeah. And yet we all know, thank goodness we all know, how important fats are.
Yes.
How many people a day, Claudia, do you have coming in who are getting their omega-3s? Yeah. And yet they may not be able to break them down.
Exactly.
They may not be able to liberate those essential fatty acids from that supplement and really get the best out of it. We know how important omegas are for cognitive health, for cardiovascular health, for skin health, for cellular regeneration. And yet so many of us are compromised. So the lipo gold is really high in lipase, and it's a lipase, we call it TheraBlend, meaning you're getting breakdown in the stomach, but you're also getting that enzyme activity in the small and the large intestines. That's so important because lipase is not very stable in stomach acid. It has to be really special kinds of lipases.
Yes.
And this is what Enzymedica really, really features in our lipo gold, is a high quality plant-based lipase, or I should say plant-derived lipase,
Yes.
that is going to work throughout the digestive system. This is why people feel the difference when they take our enzymes.
Exactly.
Actually active.
And the lipo gold, we encourage people, they can take it both with food and they can take it on an empty stomach if they need it, because it does help many people that are dealing with, especially if they've had gallbladder removal. It can support the digestive system, even on an empty stomach. So it's a great product. It's a shame. It's very sad to me that so many people are just, having their gallbladder, the gallbladder is not happy and it's being removed. And of course, we always teach people, look to nature first to see what can be done to help your body do what it's meant to do to help you feel better. So, we have a lot more people these days coming in and saying, hey, they're having issues, but they don't really want to jump into that surgery. And then, and then we show them supportive products. And we see some wonderful feedback on it. I do want to just mention to you, I was telling Denny before we started, I had a radio show back in, 2005, 6, whatever it was. We were on for a couple years. And Tom Bohager was our first sponsor.
Oh, really?
For the show, and he was a sweetheart. And here's his book.
Yep.
It's a great book.
We just published that today.
Yeah. So I always appreciated that he, was so supportive of what we were doing. And, he was in there. We had him on several times talking about enzymes. So boy, we've learned a lot over the last 20 some years, haven't we, about gut health and enzymes and all these things.
Do you remember, when I started in the industry in 1989, and it was like, you want me to take bacteria? This is like before the days that probiotics were, on every shelf in America, everywhere, and in food. Yeah. And it was like, oh, that's racy. And now we're all about it. So I'm happy every single day when we're getting more research about the microbiome. And in fact, that's really so much of what Enzymedica does, is we bring new information and new products to market. And so we're really looking at the effect of enzymes in the microbiome, not just what's happening in the stomach and the small intestine, but throughout the entire system. And you're going to see some cool stuff from us in the next couple of years.
Like what, Julia? Why don't you share with our vast audience on some of the new products you guys are working on? This would be a good time.
Claudia, you've had the berberine craze, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about berberine?
Do you
brought it up, and we have talked about it on another episode, but let's revisit that just quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, berberine right now is all over the news, all over it. Actually, berberine's been around for thousands of years. It's one of the oldest herbal medicines. Chinese texts, we have huge amounts of safety data on it. And people are using berberine to help with healthy blood sugar regulation, which can then result in them better able to adhere to a good lifestyle, eating plan, less sugar, and some weight loss. But the thing that not a lot of people know about berberine is that it's amazing for the microbiome. It can be one of those things that's often used in a candida protocol because it is a little bit cleansing.
Yes.
But what berberine does is it enhances a native bacteria in our gut called Akkermansia. And Akkermansia is directly correlated to lower body fat percentage. So in huge studies looking at huge populations, people who have higher Akkermansia tend to have lower body fat percentage. So again, we're going back to the gut, right? And it does have to do with the love handles very much, because there's bacteria in our gut that are sending signals to our insulin response all day. So it's Berberine's very cool. I'm happy it's having a heyday, but it's so much more than what's usually talked about.
I was very blessed. I always talk about learning from Pat and Joe Bassett, and they were iconic in our, not only our community, but their story was iconic around the country. And Joe always taught years ago that golden seal, which of course is natural containing berberine, was a very important herb, not only because of its antibacterial activity, but that it actually had the ability to clean the intestinal tissue, to get in and clean that up. And it's interesting because that maybe goes back to what you're just talking about.
Yep, it's those shared alkaloids in those two plants, berberine,
Yes.
The barberry plant, golden seal, which we don't use as much anymore because it has
Getting
been
over harvested, isn't it? Yeah.
Coptis is another one, Chinese gold thread. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. These plants are all bright yellow and they have very similar histories and usage.
Yeah, very beautiful. And something that, because we do educate on Candida every day, because I personally think it's epidemic in the United States. I mean, I don't know how it couldn't be. People are eating everything that helps feed it. So with the Candidase, along with that, that brings in that whole conversation of not only diet, but understanding environmental toxins and all these things, which I believe are playing a role. And it's interesting, even though we never make a claim on this, over the years, countless people have told me when they started Candidase, whether it was a couple months down the road, whatever, a few months down, that their sugar cravings were diminishing. And of course it would make sense because it's affecting the yeast overgrowth. So it really is when you help address the Candida overgrowth, it really helps in so many bigger issues.
I found that to be true when I got on it, Claudia, that my sugar cravings definitely were curbed. And that's a huge deal because I was Mr. Cookies and brownies and ice cream nearly every night. And it was like that. And I'm like, wow, I don't have a craving right now.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing product. It really is. I'm a big fan of it, even though I've been taking it wrong this whole time.
No, you're doing it right. And no, you're doing a great job. You just need to continue to increase it, get to 3 trays a day. You're doing a great job, Denny.
I'm going to do that. All right, Julia, is there anything else you want to mention as we're getting ready to wrap up? You did a great job, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to mention and thank Claudia and your team. You are the reason, people like you are the reason our industry still exists. It's still strong. We're really out there trying to spread the information, help people. It's why I've been doing it for over 30 years as well. Yes. So I just want to thank you and your team for what you do every single day.
God love you. Thank you, Julia. I'm so proud of our industry and I'm so grateful. There's so many heartfelt, knowledgeable people in our industry. And so it's been really important to me that we help the country understand we are not some frivolous industry. We are extremely important. We do important things. We have brilliant, heartfelt people that are advancing nutrition and the nutritional understanding in this country. So I'm really so grateful. Denny and I are grateful for you to be here with us. We hope you join us again. And thank you to your company. And if you see Tom, I don't know where Tom is these days, but if you see Tom, please give him a hug for me.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Denny. You guys have a great day.
And Julia, next time you're on with us, it's okay to wear like your lounge pants and just totally relax like we are right now because we're pretty low. We're pretty low on that. Dress code is not required.
Yeah. No, but you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, honey. Many blessings to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Claudia, another amazing episode. All right, so here's what I want to ask you when it comes to Canada.
Yeah.
How long I had lunch at like noon.
Yeah.
So how many hours do I have to wait where my stomach is empty enough to where I can have a couple more? Because I've been taking 2 a day. I'm going to go to 4 a day and then work my way up to 6. So how many hours do I have to go?
Well, usually we suggest an hour before a meal or 2 hours after a meal. If you've eaten... most people eating red meat, we usually suggest 3 hours after the meal. I don't know that there's a set timeline, but we try to keep it that far away. That's why
an hour before you eat or 2 hours after.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that should do it. I mean, some people wait longer. That, sometimes the afternoon dose is a challenge for a lot of people. That's why we've learned over the years to do 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening before you go to bed. That seems to be an easier way for people to get the 6 in a day.
Well, the only thing is with that is I go to bed so early. A lot of times it's not 2 hours after I eat a meal. That's the
Right,
problem.
right. So just get it in when you can. Just try to keep it a couple hours away.
All right. Well, I'm going to do that.
All right, cool.
All right. So who do we have next week? Do you know who's on with us next week?
So next week it's you and me, and we're going to talk about back to school products. How to support the immune system of children going back to school, how to nourish their brain, how to help them get through their day easier. So that's what we're going to talk about.
By the way, you might want to order more candidates because every time we talk about a product, I go in there and you're sold out. Seriously. So order more, please.
We will.
Whoever does the ordering.
Yeah.
All right, Claudia, like always, I'm giving you the last word.
Well, thank you, Denny. And I miss sitting next to you.
Well, it's hot up here in the attic today. I'm here to tell
hugging you today, but if I was there. But at any rate, it's I always encourage everybody to keep the faith and shine your light. Life can get a little challenging sometimes, and we all have our own challenges and burdens, and we just have to do the best we can with them. So keep love in your heart, keep light in your heart, shine it out, share it with others. It helps every journey there is to be easier. So there's a lot of love in this world. Just find it and connect with it and share yours. And that's what I have to say today. So thank you all for joining us. Many blessings to everybody. Keep working on your health. There's nothing more important than our health. We work with people that are very wealthy, people that have all this stuff, but if they don't have their health, they're not having fun. So embrace your health and really honor it, because it's a beautiful thing to do. So thank you so much. Blessings to everybody. Peace.